Good evening, everyone. Welcome to everyone who have joined us tonight. And I'm hoping in the next few minutes, the additional few will also join us. Do get your family members to also log in or listen to the session along with you. Okay, so I am Vedavati Shetty coming to you from Pune and absolutely honored to be hosting tonight's webinar on the lifestyle reset, reclaiming holistic health in a fast paced world. This special session tonight is brought to you by our holistic health program, which is NutriLIV 360, Best of Health and Best of Fitness. Well, before we dive into today's discussion, let's take a quick look at the bigger picture. India's wellness economy is expanding rapidly. We all know almost everyone is trying to do something or the other. It's projected to touch almost $80 billion this year. Yet, despite of all of this, lifestyle challenges remain, you know, a huge challenge, right? A stark issue that we have. Over 65% Indians say mental wellness is their top priority, including I. But most households spend less than an average 12,000 rupees annually on wellness products and services. This is not me saying, this is statistics, this is research. At the same time, urban professionals, homemakers, and teachers alike are reporting rising stress, irregular sleep, and limited time for self care. Can you all relate to this? I can. And I could earlier as well. Well, this contrast between aspiration and action is exactly why today's conversation is so important to bridge that gap between awareness and sustainable practice. I'm also a IT professional. I'm a mother of two. I'm a daughter. I'm also busy and having the same issues I had. I would say the same issues, and hence I can relate to what you all may be thinking. But let's immediately, get our expert speaker on board. And it is my honor and privilege to be introducing to you all uh, the esteemed speaker. He's an ex-naval commander officer. He's a two-time world champion in sport of yachting. He's represented India in 3 Olympics and 8 Asian Games, bringing many, many medals for his country, our country, including the only gold medal till date. He's a recipient of the Arjuna Award and the Chhatrapati Shivaji Award, amongst many others. He has 40 years of active national and international sporting career to his credit. Also a loving husband and a family man. He's 64 plus, probably 65. You can correct me later. But has a body that defies his calendar age and can beat many of us, including many 20-year-olds as well. More so, he's a health expert, a mentor, and a coach to thousands and thousands, having helped transform many of families' health, including mine and my family's. With a thundering applause, and if everyone can switch on their cameras as well, please help me welcome Farooq Tarapur on the virtual stage, all the way from Mumbai. Hi,
Thank you.
Farooq. Good evening.
Thank you, Veda, for that amazing introduction and for the amazing start to this session. I think uh, you should be doing this session rather than me.
I I have learned so much, yes, and still learning, but definitely there's so much more to learn and imbibe that we can actually implement. So I'm going to dive directly into a question, probably, Farooq, that many would want answered first. Given that most of us, feel that we are too busy to focus on health, we want to do something, but time नहीं है, calls पे calls, घर का भी काम करना है, बच्चों को भी देखना है, work is important. What can you help us with one or two, simple, sustainable habits that even the busiest professionals or homemakers or teachers, can adopt to begin their wellness journey or restart probably their wellness journey without feeling overwhelmed? कैसे करेंगे?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And in fact, it's a very long question, beyond the scope of this 40 odd minutes. But I can assure you that the only thing common between a millionaire and a pauper are the 24 hours of the day. Similarly, the only thing common between a healthy person and an unhealthy person are the 24 hours of the day. My experience has shown time is used as an excuse. It never really is a constraint. So far, when I've looked into the lives of people, and I believe, when somebody tells me that time is a constraint, I know that they genuinely believe that. Okay. But when I look into their lifestyles, I feel that time has never been a constraint. So far, not even one person has been able to really prove to me that they don't have the time. Everybody has the time. It is just that they have to decide to give it the right importance. So once they decide to give it the right importance, what happens is that excitement and josh dies off in a few days. And that is the reason why they need to be connected to a community, a safe place, where they can get gradual guidance, where they can see people who are probably busier than them or probably less busier than them. Okay. Also managing the similar situation, but yet finding the time. I'll give you a simple example. When I used to be training, and we used to find that we needed certain muscle to get stronger, or to basically do some simulation training. Like other sports, you can probably put on the light. Nowadays, like you see, IPL is going on. People play in the stadium even at night, which was not happening 50 years ago. 50 years ago, they used to play only during daytime. Right now, they can play at night. Unfortunately, there are not many races held at night, and there's not much training that we can do at night. So what we used to do is that we used to create simulation training and create a particular part of the boat on which we should try and strengthen that particular muscle. So all I'm trying to say is that, trust me, time never, ever is really a factor. It is a decision which is a factor. It is the lack of the community which is a factor. Now, you want to be connected with kind of people, in a safe environment where you can get some right advice. Because internet today is full of stuff, and it's very difficult to distinguish between the right stuff and the wrong stuff. Anita that day was just pointing out that in the past, she never ever on social media saw anything like, that you must walk after a meal. It was basically frowned upon. And she told me that, a few decades ago, you started it, and now it's flooding the entire social media. Every single, article you will see in the social media says that it is important to walk after a meal, because if you walk after a meal, it really gets the basic sugar in your control. Right? To give you many, many examples as far as time is concerned, I've seen busy executives. I can walk into a super busy executive office, and in less than 5 seconds, I can tell you whether that executive has made the decision to remain healthy or has not taken that decision seriously. It is 100% predictable today that if you talk to about, say, 1 million people, 90% of them will say health is your biggest asset. They will all say it. But 90% will not do what is required to give that asset a chance. So we live in this, confusing environment where people know that health is important, but they only start looking after health once they lose it. And that sometimes okay, is a bit too late. But many times, even after, the first signal and the first, symptoms appearing, the body is very resilient, you can always make a turnaround. So if you want to really, to handle this question, to get off of all the confusion that I already created in this question, the simple answer is make a strong decision, okay, and stay connected to a community where you will get to learn everything. Because just answering, I can answer, one thing, I could say, follow circadian rhythm. I could say, follow gut health. I could say morning nutrition. I could say protein. I could say, micronutrients. I could say macronutrients. There's a whole host of stuff that is required. Okay. Good health is not like a one size fits all. And good health is not all about, a simple solution. It's a very, very complex situation. And just like our sport, our sport is one of the most complex sports that you can, be involved with. And I say that if you involve with something complex, how do you solve it? You break it down into simple parts. So each part of the complex structure appears simple. And when you break down each of the simple parts, the whole complex structure falls in place. So the puzzle gets solved. And that, in my opinion, is just a strong decision. You will find an answer. I have seen people have weights in their offices. They can do weights while they're, handling a call. I can see that if they've sat for a little bit of a time, they would get up, do some weights. I've seen people with chairs on which you can do abdominal exercises. I've seen people, follow some small other routines, like, how we put up on our web page, some very, very small things. So when you do these small things, it looks after your overall health. So there is, my friends, no simple fix, because everybody today wants to look for that perfect answer. I'm sorry to disappoint. There is no perfect answer. You have to feel your way in. You have to give health importance, because without health, nothing is important. I mean, what is the use of crores of rupees, and no health? What is the use of having all the time and the money, but you don't have the health and the energy? So you got to decide that how you want to live. You want to decide what kind of energy you want. You want to decide that what do you want to die with? Many people have always asked me that question. So you mean to say you're going to die of nothing? I said, that's a good idea. That's a good concept. Okay, let's die of nothing. All right. Because when you're healthy, I've seen so many people, they're healthy and they just sort of, they're doing everything till the last day of their life, and then they just suddenly die. And it's a very, very good concept, because that really explains the difference between lifespan and health span. Okay. Today, unfortunately, medicine is capable of increasing your lifespan. But the question to be asked over is it really capable of increasing your health span? Because additional lifespan without a good health span, you're a liability. Good health span, you are an asset to yourself and your family. Plus, you can enjoy and live your life to its fullest. So, the short answer to this long, complicated question is that we have answers to questions that you don't have, but make a strong decision and be connected with a community, that can guide you, that can mentor you to safe health.
Thank you. Thank you, Farooq. This so much aligns with, I remember during the initial phases of when I was trying to, take control of my health, he always said the decision, the goal short term, long term, and staying in the community is what matters. And the rest follows because you learn from your coach, you learn from the others, and yeah, you're there. So you don't waver. Thank you so much. I didn't expect this. I was expecting kuch to ek, nuska, but so profound. Thank you so much. So, for the next question, and so you are a sports person. I'm sure you have been with a lot of people who are disciplined. You've lived a life, disciplined life as an athlete, as a coach as well. How can non-athletes bring that same sense of discipline and balance into their daily life? Because to achieve something, you need absolute discipline as well, whether it's managing stress, food choices, or just simply staying active.
I can assure you that you really don't need that kind of discipline as you need to win a gold medal, okay, to improve your health. Discipline is really the last thing that you really need. What you need is a strong decision, okay, and really enjoying the results of that decision. Because when you start enjoying the results of that decision, you will start automatically putting the discipline in. It is very difficult. I mean, I'll give you a very simple example. I'll give you my own example. That for the 40 years, that is right from 1971 to 2010, that I raced for the country, waking up in the morning, hitting the gym was never a challenge. Coming back, having the right breakfast, going back to, training, coming back, having lunch, training, going to sleep, never a problem. Okay. No party, no weddings, nothing really came in the way. Not that I didn't go. I went if there was no event. Okay. If there was an event, I didn't go. So that discipline was pretty automatic. So when I stopped, I found that it was extremely difficult to do. There was no motivation to get up in the morning and hit the gym. So I had to be deliberate about it. Okay. I did not like what I saw in the 40 years that I was racing, that most people would race for 4, 5, 6, 7, maximum 10 years kind of thing. And then they would stop, doing this kind of crazy stuff. And what I realized was that the net result that they were becoming, and when I saw that, I didn't like it. To give you a simple example, that we used to weigh ourselves before we would go out to sea. And because of the heat and, all the dehydration and the energy expanded, every day when we came back 4 to 5 hours later after training from the sea, and we would weigh ourselves again, we would be between 3 to 4 kilos less. So we were losing 3 and 4 kilos every single afternoon. So imagine the kind of, our calorie diets, this was around 6,000 calories. And 6,000 calories was, very difficult to keep that balance going. Now imagine what happens if you keep this habit of eating 6,000 calories, and then you're not losing it every afternoon. What do you think happens? Everybody, in no amount of, it took hardly any time, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, and we were all in triple figures. So when I saw that, I didn't like it. I said, no, this is not where I'm headed. Okay. I don't like this excess weight. And whenever a little bit of flab came on and I couldn't see my six-pack, I would say, this needs to go. Okay. I didn't wait for it to become 10 kilos. So trust me, it is never the discipline that's important. It is always a decision that is important, because decision will automatically bring in the discipline that is required to do it. And when you make that decision, I will just give a little tip over here. Make sure that you enjoy it. Because when people try to question me as to how can you, do this kind of stuff day in and day out and not get bored and all that. So, no, it was very exciting to me, because every day was different. Every day there was a sense of purpose. Every day we were trying to do more research. Every day we had just one single thought: how can I go faster? Okay, how can I go faster? So when you have that kind of a thought process, this is pretty automatic. Most sports people are totally indisciplined. Trust me, they've got zero discipline. It is because they love the end result so much that the discipline kicks in automatically. So when you transfer this over here in a non-sporting environment, it is more or less the same thing. If you like what you're going to achieve, if you can visualize it, if you can see that, this is what I want my, six pack to look like. Okay, this is what, my my waist needs to look like. This is what my shoulders need to. This is what my bicep needs to look like. This is what my leg muscles need to look like. Great. If you can do that, trust me, discipline will be pretty automatic. It will just flow in. Like it will be easy. The goal over here is to make it easy. Okay. And if you have the right input to your brain, it will automatically become easy. Yeah, okay, you are doing some really stressful work, your boss is giving you a hard time, your teenage children are giving you a hard time. Instead of getting focused on that hard part, you say, okay, let me breathe. Okay, because most people at that time forget to breathe. All right. Because we did this exercise, and one of the times when the most stressful part in our racing is the starting line, because unlike other sports, you don't have a standing starting line. You got to be on the sea, and it's an imaginary line that you got to first judge where exactly it is, and then try and hit it at the right speed, trying to maneuver with boats around you who are also trying to do the same thing. And there's only one spot on the line, which is the pole position, and everybody in the fleet is trying to fight for that. And we suddenly realized that most people, ruin their starts because they forgot to breathe. So when you have this kind of a situation, okay, try and just focus on the end result. Try and focus what you really want. Okay. If you're really true to that decision of yours, and again, I'm stuck with this word that stay in the community, because the community, keeps on encouraging you, keeps on helping you, keeps on guiding you, keeps on mentoring you. So you will get the right advice and you will see the right kind of motivation, because there'll always be somebody whose situation is slightly worse than yours also doing it. And then you say, oh my God, if this person can do it, what's wrong with me? Right? And then there'll be some who will always turn around and say, oh, that person can do it, but I can't do it. So unless and until you are clear and you can see the end result, because that end result will automatically motivate you, and that will automatically bring in the discipline. Discipline is given too much importance. Okay. It's good to be indisciplined. It's good to, when people are indisciplined, they enjoy life, they like it. Let's do some chaos, So what's the fun in the life if you're going to be so disciplined? But when you enjoy the end result that you're going to achieve, you will find discipline will be pretty automatic.
Thanks, Farooq. In fact, I can relate to this because you always used to tell us, visualize the end result, keep it in front of you. For example, what dress do you want to fit into? Or go buy a dress which is two sizes. And it worked. It worked whenever there was stagnancy. These few things about visualizing your end goal made it exciting to continue on the journey. And as you rightly said, how you have been saying that discipline is overrated. It, of course, is required. I'm not saying it's overrated, but those small steps. And I always say that what I learned on this program is those small changes done consistently actually gave results. And when you see those results, you enjoy them. Thank you so much for this. Well, Farooq, we do talk about holistic health on this program, right? And it's not often understood. I won't say misunderstood, but it's not often understood by all what holistic health is. Because when I talk to many people around, each one is trying to do something. They're either, exercising, they spend an hour in the gym, or they go for a walk, or probably they're eating uh, uh, the right food as per what knowledge, they get from social media. Some probably have a dietitian and all. But can you help us in your, view, and help us understand how can we shift towards a more authentic understanding or a complete understanding of holistic health, and what are the benefits that we can get through that?
Yeah. One of my biggest complaints against modern medicine is that they focus on the symptoms. All right. And they get they have so much of narrow tunnel vision over there that they forget to treat the whole body. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, suppose somebody is having, kidney failure and is on dialysis. Okay. Most doctors will recommend that you must not have protein. All right. And this is the worst advice that they can actually give. It's not their fault because that's what they've been taught to do. Right. They forget that protein is the building block of life. And without protein, in life. So they don't care if the patient dies as long as the kidney doesn't fail. Now, that's a very, very wrong approach. What we want to look at is we want to have a look at how is the patient. Okay, look at the overall view. Is the patient really, improving, or is the quality of life going down? So it's all about, like I mentioned in that earlier question also, it's all about energy. I've never seen a really sick patient having a lot of energy. Okay. So do you have that energy with you? That is a more important question than just, worrying about, just dealing with the symptoms. Because when you're dealing with the symptoms, you forget the whole body and you forget the big picture. The big picture is that try and treat the cause, try and treat the problem, try and find what is the root cause of the problem and treat it. See, I'll give you another example. A close friend of mine who was diagnosed with cancer recently, he was unable to move. And he had problems about judging depth and perception, was very poor. And as soon as he went to the doctor asked for a brain scan. And in the brain scan, there were two little tumors, which was creating that problem. Then the treatment was immediately to handle that two small tumors. It took us quite some time to figure out that the two tumors were only secondary tumors. The main tumor, the main cancer was in the lung. So if you can find out the main cause quickly, the main root cause of the problem, and treat that problem, you will find yourself that you're going to the path, a safe path of good health. And you will be able to recover, faster. And by the time the whole thing happened, the cancer really spread around and, the person passed away. So it's very important to understand that why holistic health is so important. I give you slightly different examples. People go to a doctor, they find their pressure is low or is a little high, and they just put them on pressure pills, not realizing that taking those pills, very often I've noticed that it leads to glucose problems. Okay, they become diabetic after that, and they have other problems. So then they get onto diabetic medication. So from, one little problem, which probably could have sorted out by a little bit of exercise, and a little bit means like really, we're talking over here like 30 minutes in a day or something like that. Okay, 30 minutes in 24 hours. It would have easily been sorted out. Okay. Now that medication has created its own side effects. Creating another medication that creates another side effects. And then overall, you find that instead of really eating food, to live, you are eating medicines as food to live. And that is the main issue today. And you got to ask yourself a question. We promote on this, try and be medicine free. And it's not for some kind of a joke or some kind of a cult that we are developing. We want people to be medicine free, so we want to make sure that people are using medicine and not abusing medicine. If you get a headache, you have a choice. Okay, you can either take a painkiller and get rid of the headache like real soon, or you can find out whether it was hydration problem, whether it was nutritional problem, whether it was lack of sleep, whether it was stress, or whatever it was, and try and handle that so that the headache would not return back. But if you just were to take a tablet and get rid of it, honestly, it's the easiest thing to do, right? But you got the technology, might as well take it. Why suffer? But that convenience, what people fail to understand is that becomes really inconvenient in the long run. So before you just pop in a few tablets and ask yourself a question: do I have a choice? And that is why, again, we come back to the community, where community can share their experiences, and tell you that, hey, look, there is another way also of doing it. Try this, before you start popping the pills. Because if you continuously keep popping pills, you're bound to have some side effects, and those side effects. Now, unfortunately, let me also, be very clear over here that every person reacts differently to those side effects. That is why you must have noticed that when a certain medication doesn't, suit a particular individual, doctors generally try to change it. Okay, every person is different, so they react differently to medication. They're different. The side effects are different on different people with the same medication. So that's the unfortunate part. So there is no clear-cut evidence as to what is causing more harm, and hence it goes into a very confusing state. Don't you think it's better to first figure out if there's another way around, there's another option available? Why not take that rather than, get so sort of stuck with medication that medication itself creates its own problems? By the way, I'm sure that many people on this platform already know that apart from cardiac problems, which is the leading cause of death in the world, which is followed by cancer. And the third largest reason for people dying is medication. So the same stuff that is used to, increase people's lifespan is also responsible for killing that many more people. And it is all written off as, acceptable loss. Honestly, to me, this is not an acceptable loss. Because if an option was available, okay, why would you not take a slightly, you may say it's a slightly difficult option, but yes, it's the option. Right? So I rather prefer that people understand this and people protect holistic health. That's why, and take holistic health more seriously than just, treating a symptom. Because as long as you keep treating the symptoms, you are not ever going to be on the path of good health. And that is why holistic health is extremely important to understand. And we want everybody to sort of think of the body as a whole, think of your energy as a whole, think about how you're feeling, and be excited about what you can do with your life, rather than be scared that I meet so many young people in offices today say that I'm scared to do any of my reports because मेरे को तो पता है कुछ ना कुछ तो निकलेगा ही. And it is true, because the kind of reports that I'm reading now, I'm amazed. So how can the guy is like 25, 26? How can he have 424 as his LDL? How much wrong can you do in such a short period of time that it has reached this stage? But the writing is on the wall. It's absolutely clear that more and more people are going to find that these numbers are not going to come out good, because they are not really doing the right things that are required for good health. I just met somebody yesterday who said that, oh, I love this burger, and every time I go there, I have it, adding a Coke along with it. So it's like a problem on a problem, right? So yeah, holistic health is, I think, the most important thing that one needs to understand, and one needs to protect, and one needs to ensure that the whole family remains protected with holistic health, rather than just using medication, not using, instead of just abusing medication. I always say use medication wisely, do not abuse it. Yeah.
Thanks, Farooq. That helps us understand the need for holistic health. And I think just a few more minutes, probably, in understanding what is holistic health, what are those pillars? It's exercise, the right balanced food,
Yeah.
then sleep, stress, and of course, I would say supplementation as well, right? And I want to get onto the topic of supplementation because today social media is obviously making us more aware of why the need for supplementation, but there are so many supplements available. And, can you help us understand
Yeah.
what would be the right one? Why again? Because not everyone is still, understanding the need for supplementation. If you can delve a little bit more on that, please.
First, the first rule on supplementation: uh, don't take anything that is made in a laboratory. Okay, don't take anything that's artificial. Take everything that's natural. If nature didn't make it, don't consume it. All right. When you take a supplement, okay, in the form of pill or in form of powder, in form of liquid, whatever form it may be, ask yourself a question. When you put this into your mouth, is your body going to accept this as food, or is it going to treat it like a supplement? The minute the answer is yes, it will treat it as food, and it will help you bridge the gap between the nutrition that your body needs and the nutrition that you already got from the food, then that is the right supplement to take. Now, this is not an easy subject. It takes years and years of experience and training to understand that which supplement is required and at what time of the day. Just gulping supplements without any meaning to it is not going to help you. So again, when you are in a community like this where people have had a lot of experience, and we are talking now a combined wealth of decades of experience as to which supplement taken in which form really gives the desired result, it is going to be really good for your health. Whereas if you just were to go onto social media and listen to whatever people have got to say, then you might get off onto a really wrong track. So it's very important to understand this, that make sure that the supplement is organic, make sure the supplement comes from the right source, and that your digestive system should not differentiate it, between taking a supplement and taking food. So it is the food that you have not eaten. And in some cases, it will help you to reverse the harmful effects of the wrong foods that you have taken. Like omega-3. Omega-3 is one of my hero supplements, and that is the reason why I really, really like it. Anything, I've noticed that any form of inflammation in your body, 6 omega-3s is really the key, to solving that problem. Take 2 at breakfast, 2 at lunch, and 2 at dinner, and you'll notice that in 9 cases out of 10, your inflammation will disappear almost like magic. Although I always say that the supplements are not magic pills, but this one is truly magical in its own way.
Thanks, Farooq. I think that definitely helps clarify a few questions that people may have had. Well, one last question, and this I reserved for the last because I'm sure it would help many people. So, Farooq, you have guided many, many people, towards uh, moving away from popping that pill first and towards a healthier living, right? Could you share any personal story or example, probably
Yeah.
from whom you have mentored, to
Yeah.
illustrate
So
how? Yeah.
there are so many of these stories, right? And to sort of generalize it, that we have found that people who have been popping pills for thinking that they are pre-diabetic or diabetic, and that they were convinced that the medicine is the only answer. We have just, changed a few things, got them to the, eating at the right time, exercising at the right time, and suddenly monitoring, okay, at the right time, ensuring that their sugar levels are remaining, in control. And it's coming as a shocker to these people that, wow, that I have been actually, taking the wrong path for all these years, because nobody has ever told us that there was an option and I could stay away from, taking medicine. And they found that it is such an easy thing to do. Try and understand one thing. Diabetes is a lifestyle challenge. Okay, we've created it. So surely we also have a solution for it. So things that you were not supposed to do, you were doing, and then suddenly when you started correcting it, for a short period of time, this thing changes real fast. And then they sort of start getting really strong belief that, wow, if it can do this, then you know what about those, my pressure medicine? And then they find that they're measuring the pressure, monitoring the pressure on a regular basis without medicine. And they find that the pressure is under control. So just doing a few right things can really help, get people off this lifestyle challenges. Okay. Now, it's not that you join the community and you're on some stage 4 cancer is going to solve it. Definitely, it's not going to solve it, right? But you can do things that help you not get cancer in the first place. Okay. The more chance you give your body by making sure that you're exercising, the more chance you give your lysosomes, to eat away all this junk in your body, the more chance you give your natural killer cells in the body to kill the tumors. All of us develop tumors, it's a natural process. But when your natural killer cells are strong enough to recognize it, and able to kill those tumors, you can stay away from these kind of dreadful diseases. So there's a lot to be gained over here, okay, by just being in the community, just learning what to do, just eating the right food, just making sure they're doing the right exercise, just making sure they're taking the right supplements. And you'll automatically find that when you go out, you make better choices. Like, I really like when people tell me, hey, there was this amazing caramel custard, but I didn't eat the whole thing. I just say, yeah, that's the way to do it. Just so that when you have the right knowledge, and even when you do the wrong things, you start doing the wrong things a little less. And when you start doing the wrong things a little less, it automatically starts improving your overall health. So stay connected to the community. And because if you stay connected to the community, you will keep getting these tips and you'll keep on realizing that there are other options.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Farooq, for your time, for your patience in going through all of those questions. A few points that I have noted, and I think some of you joined a little late. The first thing is decide. That decision. You don't need to be totally disciplined to achieve, a healthy lifestyle. But that decision, staying in the community so that you are guided, you are inspired, you are nudged by your co-participants or by your coach or by your health buddy, that will help you stay on course. What I have learned through the last now 6 years, 6 years plus in this in this community is it has transformed my life through those very same principles that Farooq actually spoke about. And it was small things. Even today, it's a journey. But as Farooq says, today we know, being part of the community, having stayed on this journey, we are aware when those small, deviations are done, what it is going to impact and how we can come back on track. And to ensure that, we're not eating a whole big, what do you say, a Cadbury bar, but just probably having a small square and then probably just having a walk. So that's how beautiful and that's how fruitful it is when you are part of this program, when you have the guidance of legends like Farooq. So, friends, come onto the community. If you're not yet there, we have a WhatsApp group, but connect with the person. In fact, more than that, connect with the person who has invited you today to understand the construct of how you can look at health holistically, not just one or two aspects. And even if you can do small things, how you can take control of your health and your family's health, right? Don't forget that there is a gap in the food that we eat, and hence supplementation and the right supplementation, as Farooq mentioned, one that is from nature, absolutely not coming from the lab, and of course, where you know the source. We provide that guidance as well on this community. Well, that's it from us. Thank you once again, Farooq, for tonight, as well as for guiding thousands and thousands of us on a daily basis, relentlessly and with so much of passion. Friends, we will see you next Monday with a topic that is close to, what will help you understand how you can improve, and take the right steps. Thank you so much. You've been a great audience. Good night. God bless.